In my last video, I showed you an easy way to discover who's lowering your audience retention by pretending to view your videos in full. You guys went crazy over that information, and one thing I realized is that a lot of you did not know how important your audience retention is or what to do with that information. So in this video, I'm sharing with you 7 easy ways to start improving your audience retention now. Creators, it's your girl Drea here with Clueless Tips, the community for small YouTubers to learn together, grow together, and turn things up together. I'm very excited to be talking to you about a very important analytic for you to pay attention to, and that's your audience retention. Not only am I going to explain what that's about, I'm going to tell you some of the tips and tricks that I use in order to boost my audience retention. In my very first year, I had several videos reach over 10,000 and the highest reaching over 100,000. The 2 things that my videos had in common that did over 10K were that they had good audience retention and high in search, meaning a lot of the traffic was coming from searches. Now, I have talked in previous videos about ways that you can make sure your content is searchable and why it's important, but I think it's time to do a new video on that because I've learned some things about that too. So comment below and let me know if you'd like to know more about how to make your videos easier to be searched. So what is audience retention? Audience retention can also be referred to as viewer retention. And if you go on your Creator Studio app, you can look at these analytics, and basically it tells you the average amount of time that a viewer spends on your video, or you can even look at your channel as a whole. Why is this important? The higher your audience retention, typically the higher your videos become available for searchers on YouTube. Now that you understand what audience retention is, how do you improve it? If you've been in the small YouTuber community for a while, I'm sure you know this tip, but in case you're new or doing this activity, I'm getting it out of the way, and that is do not sub for sub. I've said it many times on this channel, but even when I say it in a video, someone comments below and says, hey guys, you want to sub for people. So stop doing it. It's horrible for your audience retention and many other things. Go ahead and ask in the comments and say, why is number 1 so bad? And I'm sure the community can answer it for you, but make sure you don't write sub for sub because YouTube will probably block that comment because that's how bad it is. Avoid clickbait. Now I know this seems tempting. You see a video that you know is trending, maybe it's got a popular person or a popular theme, and you know people are searching for it. So you add a little bit on the thumbnail, and you add a little bit in your title, and you make people think that that's what they're going to see. Don't do that. Reason being is if they quickly figure out that this isn't what they signed up for, they will click off your video and lower your audience retention. We have to engage people right from the start through our thumbnails and through our titles. So you can attract people through emotions and kind of emphasizing the most exciting part of your video. For example, if you're a vlogger, you can go ahead and take what the most excited part of your video is and title it that, and then do a snippet of that in the very beginning to show people that it will be in the vlog. Because if you say, we go to Disneyland, but then the first 5 minutes is about you folding clothing, then the people who searched and found your video are likely to click off unless you gave them a reason to stay. Make sure you stay till the end of this video because the last couple of tips are hugely important and they're gonna help you a lot. Which brings me to the tip we're on right now. You see what I did there? I actually said to you to watch to the end of this video. I can't take credit for this one. I learned this from Brian Johnson. He has amazing how to YouTube videos, and I think it's so awesome. It makes sense. You want to tell people, watch to the end, but better yet, give them a reason why. What's it gonna mean to them? So I made sure my last 2 tips are good, although they all are if you didn't know them, and you're gonna want to wait simply because I brought it to your attention. I hope anyways. Cards and end screens. This is a huge one, but you have to make sure if you use cards and end screens, you tell people about them. YouTube has given you this feature, in case you don't know, that at the end of the videos, you can suggest 2, 3, 4 other videos. You can suggest playlists there, which I highly recommend because then your videos are going one after the other. And they also have cards, which you've seen, I'm sure, where you have a little bar that suggests a video. But if you're just popping those things off and never actually saying in the video for people to check out this card on reasons why YouTube's killing your subscribers, then they're less likely to actually click on that video or that end screen. Communication is key if you want people to stay on your channel. And if they're watching long enough to take action on the click card, or better yet, action on the end screen, then they're usually the type of subscriber or viewer that's increasing your audience retention. Don't be boring, people. Just don't do it. And when I say this, I'm not exactly referring to your personality. I'm referring to how you're delivering whatever message, whatever content you're creating. So if you have long pauses and you're not poking fun at those long pauses with crickets or what have you, you're just pausing for a long time to think, that could lead some people to click off of the video. You can simply cut out those long pauses, or if you're going to show someone something you got and it takes you 30 seconds to get it out of your bag, please cut that. We live in a genre of time where people are very fast paced, especially visual. If you go on Instagram, I think it's like a 3-second attention span there. So guys, you have to be engaging. The other thing that falls in line with this that personally drives me crazy is make sure you're looking at the actual lens of the camera when you're talking to people, not yourself in the viewfinder. Nobody wants to look at a person talking at themselves. They want you to talk to them. That makes a huge difference on keeping the audience retention going, because they feel like what you're saying, what you're delivering on their channel is actually directed towards them. In my last video, I showed you guys a simple tool you can use if you suspect that somebody is not watching your video in full when you think they should be. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you hit the card. See what I did there? Make sure you hit the card or check out the description and watch this video after. But what I'm getting to with this point is to treasure how you're sharing your link. For small YouTubers, finding a community, or really any YouTuber, is really important. But I think it's super important for small YouTubers. Let's be real. It's not like YouTube's gonna give us all these ample people coming to our channels and finding our videos. So we need somebody to view it. And so why not find like-minded individuals? But the problem with engagement groups and sharing your link in there is there are so many variables about what's going on with your link that you cannot control. Like one, are they clicking on your video and pretending to view it intentionally? Number two, are they clicking on your video but don't even understand what audience retention is, so they don't think it's a big deal to click on and click off? Number three, are they clicking on your video because they think it's interesting, but then they see, this is a 20-minute video, I don't really want to watch this, I'm gonna find somebody else from the community. And there's so many more things. So what do you do about that? Well, number one, you want to share your video with people who want to watch that content. If you're in a community and most of the people are not doing the same type of content as you do, or you have nothing in common with them, or again, if you're doing a sub for sub thread, or even sometimes view for view, if there's no rules around there and if nobody's checking up on that kind of thing, that is likely to lower your audience retention too. So how do you post in communities that want to watch your content? When you post on your own page, then people who are already liking you are more likely to watch that video. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to think outside of the box. It doesn't have to be a YouTube group. If you do crafts specific for kids, I imagine there's a group on there for that you can join and find a bunch of people who are just like you and not creators, And I'm sure there's going to be ample opportunities to share your link in a non-spammy fashion. One of the things I do over on my Clueless Mama.drea channel, which is Mummy Lifestyle and Laughs, please subscribe if you like that content. One of the things I do over there often is gift ideas. So I make sure when I'm in my mummy groups to search phrases like, hey, does anybody have some gift ideas for a blank? And when I see that, that's an invitation for me to go ahead and share my videos that apply specifically to what that person in that group is looking for, which is going to boost my audience retention because I'm giving them the content they want to see. Break things up a bit. Things can get boring, and this plays again on the attention span that visual viewers have. If you notice, my style on this channel is to do jump cuts, and that just kind of stimulates your brain to keep you engaged rather than a still picture. On my other channel, I do a lot of things like changing the scenery or showing clips from other scenes that match with what I'm talking about. Another thing I'm doing on this video, because this is a tip style or an informational style, I'm actually breaking up each tip with a countdown. Countdowns actually keep people watching longer because they can gauge, I'm almost at those points, I'm almost there. When I started doing this on my videos, I definitely noticed a change. And in fact, I believe almost every single video that I have that's over 10,000 views on my other channel has these breakups and things like that. So I think that really is something that helped with my audience retention. Let me know what you thought about these tips. Were any of these new to you, and what was your favorite? Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. I did promise a controversial YouTube video, and that hasn't been forgotten, but I really wanted to deliver something that can help some of the people who just didn't even know what audience retention was and what to do about it. I wanted to make sure that these tips were user-friendly, beginner-friendly, but I can go deeper and more in depth into some things, so let me know if you want a part 2. After you subscribed and hit the bell, you can check out one of these 2 videos. If you haven't seen this, this will help the people who weren't sure why sub for sub is bad. And if you haven't seen the video about how to kind of see if someone's most likely not watching your videos in full, check out this video. Till the next video, let's turn it up.